There are two types of nonfiction, that which is informational, educational, fact-driven, and that which is creative. Creative does not mean made up. It just means introduced in a way that is interesting and lyrical. What exactly is creative nonfiction? The simplest definition is that it's a true story. Here's a more complex definition that does capture sort of the heart of this art form. Bruce Hoffman says that creative nonfiction is that branch of writing which employs literary techniques and artistic vision usually associated with fiction or poetry to report on actual events and persons. Creative nonfiction goes by many names, but my personal favorite is the fourth genre because it puts this art form into the same category as poetry, fiction, and drama. There are many different types of creative nonfiction, and the list continues to grow as people invent new ways to tell their stories. So this genre is changing and forming and becoming something new all the time, and yet it's been around for a long time. Michael de Montaigne, 1533 to 1592, is known as the father of essays because he single-handedly invented this genre. It indicates, though, that this genre has been around for centuries. Still, creative nonfiction was a second-class citizen in the literary world for a long time. Things started to change in the 1960s when writers revolutionized journalism by inserting personal reflection into their reporting. Their intent was to acknowledge the impossibility of an unbiased report. They were just seeking authenticity and truth. Then the explosion of interest in memoir and other types of creative nonfiction in recent years has caused this genre to finally be recognized as a legitimate art form, which is studied in graduate programs alongside fiction, poetry, and drama. Creative nonfiction is true, and so facts need to be collected in order to tell this story. These facts are many times collected through memory, through personal memory. However, memory is elusive. We can't always tack everything down exactly as it was, so we need to depend on other methods as well. Our private records include things like diaries and photographs. And sometimes we go to public documents, things that we can find from the government sites or from a genealogy or from library sources, historical documents. Certainly facts are collected through observation. We can go and visit the places that we're writing about and interview, asking others to confirm our memories. How are the facts presented once we have them? Some of the forms, and these are just a few, is through narrative essays, just stories with beginnings, middles, and ends. Sometimes these are segmented or braided essays where little portions of the stories are told, and then maybe it seems like it's another whole story that's being told, but in the end, all these threads come together to a satisfying ending. Hermit crab essays are taking on the form of something else. Some of the most important literary tools for this genre: diction and syntax. It's all about telling the stories well. And then there's also the balance between reflective and narration. So telling a story, but in creative nonfiction, we have the opportunity to also reflect on the stories. We can't answer all the questions about creative nonfiction in a short lecture. The best way to discover it is by writing, but also there are some things we can discuss to further understand it. So here are some questions to think about together. Is creative nonfiction always true, or actual is another term that CNFers use? How much content should the writer be allowed to fabricate, from details and dialogue to facts and names? How much content should the writer be allowed to leave out? If the author gets to pick and choose what to include, doesn't that affect the story as well? The last question, so hard to answer. How objective can the writer be?